Hi guys, welcome to Ms Nhi Podcast. Okay, as you guys can tell, today is not Anne's voice speaking. I am Denise, and I am her guest host. So she gets to loaf off and shake her leg while I do the recording. So today I'm the guest host Denise, and I have with me the proper guest, Amar Othman. Did I get the pronunciation right?
Yes, you did it.
Okay. So a little bit of background. I met Amar how many years ago was it? Pre-COVID times?
It was 2016, I think.
You remember? Goodness me. Okay, so anyway, if Amar says it's 2016, it is 2000. Facing some struggles with deciding whether you want to do your own thing or not, right? That time.
I was struggling in a lot of things.
Aren't we all? We are all struggling with a lot of
Struggle,
things. Okay.
that's where we learn what we
But
want.
struggles is good. Struggles is good. It means that you are
It is.
growing. Okay, so before we go deeper into the conversation, maybe do you want to tell the audience or the listeners a little bit about what you do?
Yes, sure. I would love to. So my name is Amar. I was born in Bandung, Indonesia, but I was raised in Malaysia. But I also move around for 12 times in my life because I'm a military brat. My dad is in the Air Force. Yeah. So
Okay.
one of the places that I've been is actually in US for 6 years. I stayed in Monterey for 1 year, and then I stayed another 4.5 years in DC. Then I came back to Malaysia,
Oh,
and then that's where I started my journey, my swimming
mm-mm.
journey. Yeah. My business is basically I'm providing swimming lessons for the
Mm.
past 4 years on my own, but I've been in the swimming industry for about 13 years total.
As a
So
swimmer or?
as a teacher, yes, as a coach.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I'm gonna make some. Okay, yes.
Almost a
Continue.
decade, a decade, yeah,
Huh. How
more
old
than
are
a
you
decade.
this year, by the way? I remember you're
Oh
younger
man,
than me. So maybe we'll come.
33 years.
Ah,
I'm
33
turning,
years, and you have
yeah,
been a coach for
30.
more than a decade.
I started when I was 21.
That's almost half of your life. No, 33. Oh, that's one third of your life. In
Yes,
the
in
water.
the water, in the cold water in the morning. But I love it. I think the joy of teaching kids get me like the best experience and satisfied fulfillment. But
Why?
at
What
the
about
same
them
time,
you like so much?
I think it's uh, having the kids, seeing the kids like
Mm.
know how to swim from scared of water and getting them to swim. That's like the fulfillment that I get after a couple like months or some of them after a couple of years to see the
Hmm.
joy that they can swim on their own. That brings a lot of joy to me. But at the same
Oh, okay.
time, I actually have all the licenses for I have unit trust license. I'm a financial planner. I have insurance license. I'm also having the estate planning
The
for
what? The last one is what?
estate planning for the will.
Oh, estate
Yeah,
planning.
yeah.
Okay.
So I have all the license. So at the same time, I was doing coaching because my coaching finished at 11 a.m. And I was having so much time when I was younger. I'm like, I gotta do something. At the same time, I was hustling and doing side income and all this thing. But when I turned 30, that's why I decided, you know what? Like I was making money here, I was making money here, there, a little bit here and there. But what's the one thing? The forfeit. You remember the forfeit game?
Mm.
What's my forfeit? I was like, even I close one eye, I know swimming's making me money. So I just focus on one thing now as I turn 30 and just go full on out on that.
Is it working well for you, this focus thing?
The focus thing, yes, it's been working amazingly great. Yes, and at the same time, I also lately I just joined BNI.
What's
So
that? Oh, BNI. Okay. The
yeah,
meetings, right?
mm.
The meetings that is like so early in the morning.
Yes, you have to wake
I
up at 7,
can't. I
at 6
can't. It's the
every
same
week.
reason why I didn't join Toastmasters.
Yes,
Yeah, I know. The BNI meetings is always like 8 a.m., 9
yeah,
at
but
the latest.
it's amazing because early risers get the best in life.
Yeah, and you guys are also driven, you know. You're like, come on, let's go get it. 8 o'clock, I'm like, oh, leave me alone.
I don't think if you're not an early riser, I think you would hate me and I. But yeah, but you get to meet all these business owner from all different
Yeah, yeah,
industries.
that's true, that's
Yeah,
true.
especially like my
Okay.
position is I'm one of the director consultants, so I have to be there.
Oh, okay. But it's good. It means that you're kind of setting yourself up that you have to be there. There's no excuses for you.
Yes, yes, it brings up. I think the thing about business and all these things, the more high
Mm.
position that you are in life, the higher responsibility that you have to take on. Like if you're not there, then the people under you. There's so much responsibility of expectation of people under you. You're gonna like, if he's not there, why should I be there? You know what I mean? It's like that.
Yeah. I mean, boss
So
is not around. Let's just loaf around, man.
correct. It's a different game.
And as people can tell, there's a reason why I'm lazy lah. So there's a reason why I'm not successful as yet because I'm like busy sleeping. But today I'm doing something productive with my time thanks to Anne and Amar making full use of my talents. Which is talking nonsense. Okay, for the listeners out there, I'm the guest host. Okay, so basically, I think whatever that I'm hearing today is whatever the listeners and the audience, you guys are hearing for the first time. Because actually, I knew Amma, like I said, 2016. So we've known each other for quite a few years, but we have never actually had an in-depth conversation, right? I think
Yeah.
like an in-depth like kind of like journey wise and what made you decide to do certain things. So whatever you guys hear, I'm hearing it for the first time, and my style is going to be a little bit different from Anne's. As you can tell, I'm a little bit jokey. I'm a jokester, but still I get the main point across, I hope. Okay, now I'm curious about you. Like what made you decide to, so you basically stayed in the States for 5 years in total, right?
Almost, yeah, almost 6 years total.
Okay. Okay. So I'm just curious, like who is the most influential person in your life, you would say, in terms of
Ooh,
whether it's personal character development, whether it's in terms of, let's talk about personal character development first. Lah. Then after that we can talk about your swimming. Maybe your swimming uh, journey, you have another hero.
okay, my most influential person in real life,
Mm.
I would say would be real life would be my grandmother and my parents.
Oh.
But I also learned this theory that because I've been to a lot of trainings, right? And so I went to
Mm.
this NAC. Have you guys heard of NAC before? So
Of
NAC is
what?
basically NAC, National Achiever,
NAC.
yeah, National Achiever Congress.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so National Achiever Congress, that's where all the Gary V came, all the Grant Cardone, all the big speaker come and stuff like that. And then one thing that I learned is really cool. You can have an influential person that influence your life without them having that by just following them and following their content. That's like
Yeah, it's true.
mind
It's
blowing
true.
for me. Yeah, and
Well,
that can change your
that
life drastically.
that's why I said like, oh, let's talk about like who is the most influential person for you in terms of personal development and who is
Mhm.
influential for you in terms of career. I think there will be different
Right.
people, right?
Yeah.
So
So,
personal life wise is your grandma lah.
yep, my grandma. The reason, uh, do I need to elaborate why or
It's up to you. Like I said, you can elaborate or not elaborate as much as you
okay?
want.
So
It's up to you, man.
my grandma is actually a Chinese converted, and she is like the most inspiring person for all our family. It's because
Mm.
when her life is full of struggle and full of adversity. She have 8 kids. She was
Oh, that's the generation, right? Where
yeah,
they
yeah,
really work
yeah, that
so
generation.
hard. Oh my
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
god. Here we are
And
complaining about no aircon. Goodness me.
And so
Okay.
she started selling food and ice cream through the tricycle.
In
Yeah, so
Malaysia?
yeah, in Malaysia, in Penang.
Okay.
Yeah, she's
Okay,
from
okay.
Penang. Yeah, so she's Chinese, but she can speak Chinese, she can speak Tamil, and she can speak Malay. And then when she started selling with a tricycle, and then she started selling at the canteen, and then after that she got a coffee shop and then a restaurant. But when she passed away, she have about I don't know like 13 low cost houses. 3 restaurants. She built a coffee school. It's like insanely like
She was an
crazy.
entrepreneur.
Yes, and she
She
doesn't know
runs
how to
in a
read or write.
business,
She doesn't
right?
know how
She's a
to read.
businesswoman.
Yes, she doesn't know how to read. How crazy is that?
Who cares, right? We have all learned, like people they have
Yes.
dyslexia and all that, but who cares? She
Yeah,
knows
so
she knows how to read numbers. That's most important, I think.
she knows how to read numbers. She's
Yeah,
really good at
numbers and
numbers.
people. I think these two
Yes,
can
and
get you very
people.
far in
She's
life.
good. Yeah, she's good at people's
You
services.
see?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see? It gets her very far in life. And she knows how to leverage, I think. Was it am I right?
Um,
She probably did.
I think she's very hardworking. She's a big
Oh,
saver. Yeah,
of
she's a big saver.
course.
Yeah, and she's very fearful too. Like in the kampong where I was, where my Penang, Tasiglugur, like everybody would know her. You call her Matlog, and be like, oh, like scared of
She
her.
coming, she coming, she coming, faster, faster. But you realize how like the old school business women, as women especially, I think in the olden days are not now. To be successful, they had to be very, very fierce. Because
Yes, I think
previously, I
so.
think in their generation, I'm not sure how it was like in the Penang community, but Chinese is the same. Men are favored.
Yes, I heard that too.
Yeah, so I'm not sure whether it's because of that, but I know that my grandma's generation it was because of that. That's why females who wanted to be successful had to be like double fierce, triple fierce,
Wow,
probably. Right? Because
probably true.
because already
Probably
you're a
true. Yeah.
female, you already have a disadvantage.
Yes, probably true. But she is very strong. She's to raise 8 kids and have nothing and pass away with a lot of things. That's I don't
She
know.
left
I
behind a
cannot.
legacy.
Yes,
Right, didn't she?
yes, he did.
Well, okay, what were the values that you think about her that influenced you the most?
Hardworking, definitely hardworking. She hates people that doesn't do things. That's why all
Just
her
sit
kids.
around.
Yeah, she will be like the first one will call you out. you know.
She's like, get your ass moving.
Yes.
Oh my
Uh,
god.
yeah, but through adversity, what I learned is it creates tougher people. Adversity,
Mm.
people. That's how the world works. That's why she's so strong and um, I guess also like the kids because when you have so much adversity, you either you want it or not. If you don't work, you don't have anything to eat for your kids.
It's
So
true.
yeah, we don't live in that era. We live like
Yeah, not
oh,
not in that era
like,
anymore.
where's the Grab? Where's the Uber? Bring it
Yeah,
through.
now we're complaining, right? Last time they had to go and plant their own vegetables.
Right? Yeah. So we live
Yeah.
in a different era, and
Now
I
walk
feel
downstairs
that.
also feel lazy. Aiyo, horrible. I think your grandma will have a heart attack. She's like, walk downstairs also lazy. Get your ass off, move it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I would say so am I getting it right? Like it's persistence, strength,
Yes.
ferocity.
Ferocity. Yeah.
Right. I,
Put
I
it
don't
to
mean that
that
in a
way. I
bad
think about
way. I don't mean that in a bad
hardworking.
way. I mean
Grit. I think the
like
grit.
fierce.
The grit is very important if you want to get something done. You have to have a very strong grit that keep on going and going no matter what happened through
Like the
failure.
mentality.
Yes, yes,
Like they never say die mentality. But it's true, lah, I agree. Like as adults we can eat less or eat bread or rice or whatever. But if you have kids, you cannot get them to suffer with you.
but I think
Right.
it's a different type of challenges with kids nowadays. Kids nowadays,
Hmm.
they don't live in a you have to wake up and find food. I think kids now the challenges is more towards like because everything now is online. AI
Mm.
is crazy. You can find everything in a split second information just in the tip of your hand. And
Mm.
kids nowadays are just so full of information, so they're dealing with more of mentally emotionally
Yeah.
adversity kind of stuff in
Hmm.
online
I
stuff.
agree.
It's totally different generation what we're living
Yeah,
now.
so I think the older generation dealt with like physical fatigue, right? But
Yeah.
the current young generation deal with mental fatigue, and
Yes.
they have to
Totally
filter the
agree.
amount of information that they have to get. Okay, so I guess your grandma inspires you
Yes, in
personally.
real personally, yeah, but in online world, I have so many. Gary V is one. Like Tony Robbins is my favorite.
Okay, what's your favorite, current favorite? Let's say your
Wow,
current favorite.
I have so many favorites. I always
Current,
follow.
current, sir.
I
That's
always
why I said
follow
current.
top two. Top two will be um, Tony Robbins and Gary V. Top two. Yeah,
Tony Robbins, I know. The other one was Gary B? D?
Gary V. Yeah, Gary V. Gary
V.
Vaynerchuk. Yeah.
Okay, obviously we know what Tony. Okay, for those of you guys who don't know what Tony Robbins does or what who Gary V is, please go and Google. We're not going to explain that to you. Okay, Google's our best friend now. Ignorance is a choice.
Yes.
So Google yourself. Okay, don't ask us to explain how. Okay, let's talk about a little bit about what about Tony Robbins inspired you the most, or what is
uh,
your latest, let's
first
say,
time.
learning from them?
First time. I think I heard Tony Robbins was when I went to a seminar somewhere.
Mm.
And then my one of Annie is the same graduate that we went for Money and You. It's like,
Mm.
hey, there's this guy Tony Robbins. Have you heard of him? I'm going for the seminar in Singapore. You want to come? And I'm like, who's this guy? And then he showed me some video. I'm like, yeah, this guy has so much energy and full of energy. The way he,
Hey,
like grow with this big manly voice and like,
oh, he's
I did
very
went with
big
her.
physically.
Yeah, yeah, I went to Singapore. I went to Tony Robbins seminar,
Mm.
and it changes my life drastically after I went to the seminar. It was the Unleash the Power Within. Oh no, it's a walking fire thing. I think it's Unleash the Power Within or something like that. Where you have to walk on the fire.
I think it's unleash the power within. Okay, I know unleash the power within is somebody's cause, but I don't know whether it's Tony Robbins' cause.
I think so.
You get
I
what I
think
mean,
so.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think
Probably. Tony Robbins has so much
where you have to
power.
walk on top of the
The
fire.
burning coals. It's like
Yeah, the
there's a
burning
festival
coals.
in Singapore that does that. What?
Yeah, 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 yeah. But it teaches like you to change your mentality from like normal like I'm happy, but I'm not happy, and then the moment you're just like I'm happy, it's like yeah, Tony Robbins is
I,
crazy.
I get what I mean. It's like instant, but he has changed it so much that he has become instant. You see,
Yeah,
that
yeah, he does.
mind switch.
Mind switch. Everything is in the mind. Yeah.
So what about that unleash the power within that you took away from the biggest, because you say it changed your life, right? Like how did it change your life?
Um, I think it was more taking on responsibility of your own. You know what you want to achieve in your life, your goals.
Mm,
And having what's that word? Uh, having accountability on your own of what you
mm.
want. You know, instead of depending on something or someone.
I get what you mean. Okay. So that was the biggest thing that you learned.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
accountability on your own. And I feel
For
like a
your
lot of
own
people.
life, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, how about the other? I'm calling him the other. I'm sorry. I know he's not the other. I will go and look him up later on when this podcast is over. But for Mr. Gary Z, what was the biggest thing that you learned from him recently?
Oh,
Like, what
Gary V.
inspired you the most?
I think for Gary V, I like spreading positivity is contagious. Like Gary V is more hustling, but he loves to spread positivity all around. He curse a lot, but I like his value because he remind me of kind of like my grandma. Very hard work.
Oh,
He
okay.
multitask. Yeah, so he do like multiple business like how I used to be. I used to do multiple business. I was juggling to my financial industry. I was juggling to my swimming. You know, but at the end of the day, I figure it's your happiness. The game of the life is happiness. How fulfillment and happy are you in life if you want to do
Mm,
something? No matter how much money you make, right? If you're not happy, all that money worth nothing.
that's true.
Yeah,
Like people want money because you want things that money can buy,
true.
right? A lot of the times, whether it's for convenience, the latest, whatever it is, and people want these things because they think it makes them happy.
That's what they think. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I
that's what
think
they think. Okay, sorry, you said Gary V, right? So it's
yeah,
Gary,
Garyv.
an American entrepreneur. Is that him?
Yep, you'll find him everywhere.
Gary, I do not know how to spell. Okay. Oh, he's commonly known as Gary V as Gary space VEE.
Yeah, he-
Yeah, okay. Oh wow, his name is so difficult to pronounce, his actual name, because
Vaynerchuk.
he's not
Yeah,
he's a Soviet.
Gary Vaynerchuk.
Ah, Vaynerchuk. He looks like he can beat the shit out of you.
He cares a lot. Like the moment you follow him, like if like a lot of people that maybe a lot of people that doesn't like him is because he cares a lot. But the thing that
No, I think
cares
it's either you like or you don't like.
is, yeah,
Right? It's either you like or you don't like.
right.
By very strong personalities, it's either you like or you don't like.
Yeah. So what I learned from him is the reason why a lot of people doesn't like because sometimes like it hits them what he says is truth, but they just
Mm-mm-mm.
what you're saying like ignorance is bliss. They just try not to hear it because oh
Yeah, yeah. Like it hit the spot where it
yeah,
hurts the
it hits the
most.
spot a lot. Yeah, the thing that
So
he
that's
says
the
is
spot you need to fix or you need to work
correct.
on, right?
Exactly. Because yeah, you have to live above the line like money and you. Remember?
Oh, I hate it. It's like it's so necessary. I'm not complaining, universe. Okay, I understand the need for it, and I'm a participant, but it doesn't mean I have to like it. Okay, so it's
Yeah.
sometimes I complain like, oh my god, I have to do this, so annoying. But it has to be done. Like, okay, just do it
We're
anyway.
human being. Yeah, we always go back. One of the thing like I start taking this one thing habit where get mad at only certain time and then just move on. So let's say if you're
Does it
mad at
work?
complain at it could sometimes like let's say you were not satisfied with work, right? And then you were so
Oh,
bad, you want to complain about like maybe 10-20 minutes and then on the way
also
back,
you
right
let's say you like set a timer, is it?
and no, you just set like time, you
Okay,
don't have
okay.
to set a timer,
Attention.
right?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Maybe you can set a time for 1 hour. I just want to be mad, but once you like 1 hour, you full of mad, full of whatever, done, get over it, move on. You know, it's life.
Wow, okay, okay. 1 hour is
That
too long for me. I 3 minutes done already.
yeah, but it helps, because sometimes we always like want to release that emotion,
Yeah, yeah,
but
of
like
course, of course.
but
So
I
that
think
you can move on and not be
yes, so you can
stuck
move
in
on.
that.
Yeah,
I'm asking
correct.
about a timer, not because I'm making fun of you, because I do know someone who actually sets a timer.
The timer? Oh wow. Okay,
Yeah.
I haven't
She's like,
tried that yet.
okay, I'm very sad now. I need to cry. I'm gonna set my timer for 3 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever time she allocates herself. And then she cries. And then once the timer
Wow.
rings, she's like, okay, I'm done with this. I'm
I
like,
guess if
wow.
that works for her, it works for her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I know, but that's why I asked whether you use the timer thing also. Okay,
Nah,
that's
not
very
me.
interesting. Okay, so that was what. Okay, I'll go and check him out more. I mean, Tony Robbins is so famous, so
Yep.
no need to check him out. Okay, now we're gonna move into we talked about who is the most influential to you in terms of personally as well as your career as well as how you actually do things or how you prioritize your life right now. We are going to go a little bit backwards. Okay, tell the listeners or the audience what's one thing you wish you already knew, or one piece of information that you had when you first began your career. Like, what did
One,
you wish? Yeah,
I wish.
yeah. Like
Like
for example, with your current knowledge, right? Like,
okay,
if you were to start all this again, what is one piece of information that you wish you had known then?
don't be scared of failing. Like I
Ah,
think failure is the biggest learning lessons for everyone. If you
I
don't fail, you
know.
will never find something that you
I
like.
know. I know. Oh, but it's a lot of things that we are talking about today is a lot easier said than done. Huh?
Yes,
Just let the
correct. That's why I
listeners
was
know.
comparing. I like the thing about me, right? I like to compare lives, like with the older generation and the younger generation, like the kind of adversity that my grandma and my dad have to go through, and the kind of adversity that my little sister, she's like the most spoiled brat. Everything she wants, she just get. But yet, she still have like, sometimes like emotional, like, uh, stuff like that. But like when I compare this to life. That's what I was saying earlier. Like kids nowadays, I don't think they feel mm, as much as the people older days. Maybe the older days is the different type of feeling. Like the feeling, oh, there's no customer, oh, there's no food. It's more like
Oh, no food today, that
right
kind of.
nowadays. Some the kind of feel it's like you cannot get what you want when other people can get. It's more of uh the social media was so like in front of
Yeah, I
us, and
know. They're like
everything
so
around us.
inside that world,
you
right?
know so you start like comparing your life to others, and that's like the adversity that they going through
I know,
you know
I know. I get what you mean because they are so, I don't know. It's kind of, I mean, to them these are things that they cannot get also, right? Just in a different way. Like other people is flying to Hong Kong just to eat dim sum. How come I
yeah,
cannot
and then you're
also?
like, yeah, and then you create this story behind your head, like, oh man, I wish I had that life. Why do I not doing something with my life? Like, how come they have so much money? How come they? But that's what I'm saying. Like, at the end of the day, no matter no, it's not the money that brings you happiness. It's
Mm,
happiness comes within. You know, like
yeah, I know. Oh my
yeah.
God, failure.
I
Oh,
remember.
this.
So I remember this one time when I went to Tony Robin. I was
Mm.
sleeping at one of my ex best friend uh, house, and she's like marrying a billionaire, right? So I
Why
was
do you
staying at
say
their
it like
house.
I know she's marrying a billionaire, right? I don't know. Okay, fine.
Anyway, so I'm just like, but it's kind of weird, like story. When I went to her house and like sleep there and like stay over, she
Is
was
she
like
staying in
comparing
Malaysia
my
as
life.
well, or like she's
Yeah,
staying in
she's
the
playing
States?
it. Yeah,
Okay.
and then she was like, "Hey, Amar, I'm so jealous with your family." I'm like, hold up, you have a 3 floors of houses landed with a lift inside the house and a big ass car and everything you got, and you're jealous of me? Like
Yeah,
that was the
but
mind blowing
family,
to
yeah,
me,
but family is
you know?
something that money cannot buy. You see.
Correct. Yeah, and then she said
Uh,
she's jealous of that, is of the family. And I realized a lot of these richer people, they have less friend, and they're not as family oriented as uh people that like a middle class. Or
I get
I
what you
think it's also
mean.
family where you come from.
Maybe
Like
it's
I'm
not
studying.
just family, but I think friends wise also different because when you're at a certain level, to put it bluntly, lah, not all human beings are nice, right?
Yeah,
There will be some people that will befriend you because of certain things that they think they can get from you,
true.
right? Yeah, so I think this is my experience. Not that I'm there, definitely not. I stay in the HDB. I have no pool, no lift in the house also, okay? Yeah, the lift outside my house there, okay, the apartment. The lift outside my house. Yeah. But I realized that I know some people who are a little bit more well known or richer, and they have difficulty making friends. And the richer they are, the more successful they are, the more difficult it is for them to make friends because they have
Yeah,
been
it's different wavelength.
scammed
Yeah,
so many times.
yes, exactly. Yeah, they're living a different wavelength. And I guess like in life also, you met these people that really click with you right away, and then you met these
Mm-mm,
people who why is he talking
not
like that?
so
Like
much.
it's different wavelength. Yeah, yeah. Like it's
Yeah,
what you give to the world will give back.
that is true. But yeah, that's true. Okay. No, I'm just
I
thinking
think
about like sometimes we give the world things, the good things, but what we get is not so great, and then we
I
have
don't
to
know.
continue.
This is what I want to say about that.
Hmm.
Do you mind? I think if
No, of course not. It's your story today, Amar.
is is that sometimes you think it's your mind what you attract to the world. You're gonna stand. It's not for me, right? What I realized lately as I'm growing older, I think it's the heart. It's what your intention is. Your intention.
Mm.
If your heart says to the mind what you want to attract, that's usually what the world will bring back to you. And I truly like 100% like hardcore believer in this. It's all coming from your heart. So sometimes your
Mm.
mind say, "Oh, I want to meet these people," but then your heart is like, "Ah, I'm like still hate this," and then you met this wrong kind of people. Like, when did I met this kind of guy? It's just
Yeah,
it's hard.
I get what you mean.
You
I
know what
get
I
what you
mean?
mean. Yeah, but a lot of people don't see that because they're too busy with their day-to-day lives, right?
Yeah,
But when we ask for something, right, the universe has a way of making it happen to do lah, basically. That was for
Okay,
my
no
own
worries.
channel. Yeah, so that was the reason why. And then after that, I was thinking, my heart. Of course, I said it's okay, but my heart was thinking, like what you said. My heart was thinking, I'm afraid I may not have enough energy for two recordings back to back. Because you
Um,
know when you are, but because that particular the other channel that we're doing is YouTube, so there's a lot of visual cues
okay.
and I have to be very high energy because it's coming through on the screen, right? So I was afraid like, then I will be out the entire day and then recording. I was like, oh my god, what if I have no energy left for Amar? Then that's so horrible, right? I'm like, oh, I'm so
Yeah.
tired. Then this
But you pushed
morning,
through. Look
yeah,
at
and then
that.
this morning, this morning, my co-host texted me say that she had something on and she couldn't make it for the recording today, and I was like, oh my god, wow. I'm sorry, my friend. I'm this friend. I mean, my co-host in the other channel. I'm sorry. I'm the one who made the thing happen to you. That's why you had to cancel today. Maybe the universe is like, okay, let me since Denise the one recording today, let me put some shit on you. Then you can maybe make it for the recording. I'm sorry, and and yes, this is her podcast. I'm just saying bad things about her on her own podcast. Lovely. No lah, she knows. Um, Okay, so just now we talked a little bit about failure, and we said that how failure and struggles are our best friend. Like, I'm sure you know who Douglas is, right? Do you remember
What's that
Douglas?
one?
Do you remember Douglas?
Yes, Douglas.
Money
Yes,
and You, one of
Singaporean.
the Money and You, yeah. So Douglas loves to say that struggles are our best friends, which
Yeah.
obviously I agree, but at the same time I don't really like it. Okay, let's
Struggle
talk about.
is a very uncomfortable thing. I think struggle and adversity and all this failure is a very, very uncomfortable thing. It's how you manage it. Like stress, stress can be a good
Yeah.
stress, can be a bad stress.
Yes.
Some
Yes.
stress if you making a lot of money,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
can
yeah.
be a good stress. And then some stress that you work, but then no money, then that's what am I doing?
Also stress.
Because it's also stress, right?
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's not I look forward to the day when we have failed so much and learned so much that failure no longer makes us uncomfortable. I think that is the state that I want to move towards because you see all the great people, they're just like, oh, failure, so what? I feel like
Yeah,
10,000, 100 times already. Who gives a shit
yeah. Who
about
gives a shit?
failing? Let's just fail again. It's
You need to have
fine.
that mentality. When you
Yeah.
fail, it's kind of like I think it's not like when you fail. Of course you have to reflect back why did you fail,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of
But
course, of course.
the game of this failure game is how quick can you move on to this failure
Yeah,
and
precisely.
don't
And
look
not
back
get stuck
up.
in the
Yeah, yeah,
why did
yeah,
I do that?
yeah. A
Okay.
lot of people, I
Okay.
think nowadays they fail and then they just quit and they're like, I don't want to do anything about it anymore. you
Yes.
know?
Well, those are not our friends. Our I'd rather those are not my friends.
Yeah.
Okay, so since you're talking about failure, what would you consider your biggest failure, which also means your
Ooh.
biggest lesson in life? Like your biggest failure and what did you learn from it so far?
Oh man, you're gonna make me cry.
Ah, you see,
So,
uncomfortable start again.
yeah, yeah, like I said, failure is very uncomfortable. So lately, I just remember I told you about the Tony Robbins. I started this billionaire. Where like that billionaire's husband was my best friend. So
Mm-mm.
along the way, we're supposed to have this investment about like 2.5 million to build like a bigger center and stuff like that.
Oh, you
He
mean for
started
swimming, is
doing,
it?
yeah, yeah, for swimming.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So it started way before COVID. Then we have all this
Mm-mm.
planned out. We have to
Mm-mm.
we do all the business
Mm-mm.
planning. We met a lot of people. We found places and stuff like that. And then it keep been pushing back. I'm not sure the reason why, right? And then he said, "Oh, all these 2 years we've been planning and finding places. It keep getting like cancel or it keep getting like push back and say, oh, the wife say, oh, you don't want this, you don't want that. We're like, okay, let's just move on. And then at the end of the day, I think like last year, it's like, you know what? Let's just start this business right after I'm married, right? Like he's married a billionaire, and then they get married, and right after they got married, like we just completely stopped talking, and that hurt me a lot. Yeah,
Oh.
because like first I lost my best friend, And then I also lost the 2.5 million. Money is not an issue for me. I think for me, I'm more friends, right? But the way he just cut me off like that, I'm not sure what's the reason. Maybe like the universe is not meant to be for us to be together. I wish all the best for him. I love him to death still, and I pray for him all the time. But it just didn't work out, and I think uh my biggest lesson here was expecting something. I learned this concept, like billionaires and all these millionaires, they have this big wormhole where if you want something, you'll do everything for them to get that money, and
Mm,
all these people will do all the things for this billionaire, millionaire to just get the sum of whatever they get to get that portion of investment or anything, right?
mm,
But sometimes, like at the end of the day, when this thing happens, we didn't talk anymore and then the business didn't work out. And what I realized the most is everything you gotta stop depending on people to make it happen. It's all about you. Yeah, like that's the biggest lesson that I learned. Like I was expecting something, but luckily, while I was waiting for that 2.5 years I was working with him, 6 months ago I started my business again, and I was holding up my business for the longest time. First it was COVID. I cannot teach COVID when it's like people.
mm.
How do I want to teach COVID in bed? People were on lockdown. People can go
How do
anywhere.
you teach swimming over
Yeah,
Zoom? I don't know.
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, right? So yeah, so at the same time we were planning and all this thing, but it didn't work out. But luckily, I started last year, and last year has been amazingly great for me. With the I found like 2, 3 schools, like I found all these classes, and I realized all the resources that I have is already there, and like the funding that I need, I have like my family corporation, like family that remember I told you my grandparents, we have a family corporation. I don't know how that's like
A
Sharikat, something like
trust
that.
fund. You have a trust fund. You're a trust fund
Not really. It's
baby.
not a trust fund. It's not a trust fund. From the SKM. So SKM is the Sharikat Corporation Malaysia where you can get a loan with a one
Oh,
percent
okay.
rate, 1% uh rate
Oh,
of
that's very
interest rate.
little.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? So I can get all these resources. Like if you actually look where your resources, what you want is
If you had
always
paid
there.
attention.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
If
always
you
just
had paid
there. It's just that
attention, yeah.
yeah, yeah. But you just like I said, like this billionaires or millionaire, they always have this wormhole that we're expecting them to give us, and we do everything for them. We do this, we do that, we find all this real estate. But then, like when you realize all the resources you need is just right in front of your eye, it's uh, that was like the biggest lesson
You
for
can just be the
me.
millionaire yourself now. You
Yeah.
don't need to. Yeah, but it's, when you were telling me this story, and the lesson that you learned, which is to really just depend on yourself, and that's like what we say, the teacher is always there. The teacher appears when the student is ready.
It's
So
correct.
like your
Yeah.
resources are always there all along. It's just that you didn't see them as resources.
Yeah, I didn't see it. Yeah. Because
Yeah,
I was
and
so stuck into that.
I realized something. You carry on, carry on, carry on.
Yeah, I think because I was stuck into that investment that they're gonna invest.
Mm-mm.
And so I was like, I'll do everything for them, like
Yeah,
expecting,
yeah,
but
yeah, I know what you
guess
mean. Yeah,
what?
yeah,
At the
yeah.
end of the day, nothing, and I have to, you are the maker of your life. so, so
Yes,
from that day
yes.
on, I just do whatever I want, and it's the best thing
It's
ever.
I realized, okay, when you're telling me about the story and the lesson that you learned, right? What I was reminded of was when you said you attended Unleash the Power Within, and the biggest lesson that you learned from there was that your accountability, right? And being
Yeah,
responsible for your own life. And
correct.
in Money and You, we talk about how the universe will send us taps, and the taps will get larger and larger until you actually
That's
learn the
it.
lesson. So
Correct.
maybe when the Tony Robbins lesson
Persistent.
was like a small tap, it was like, hello, this is what you need to do. And then
Yeah,
you learn a little bit and you kind of like forgot. We all do that, right? We go back and do the same things that we were used to,
yep,
and then
yep. I
suddenly
totally agree.
here's a 2.5 million Mac truck along with your best friend. And then you're like, okay, I learned the lesson now. It
Yeah,
reminds me of that. I don't know. Do you see that similarity? Do you see that link?
I guess like I said, sometimes when you want to get something, uh, you were expecting, expecting. I think that's why
Yeah.
I realized more. It's like appreciation over expectation is so much better than when you expect something and then you try to do a lot of things for them And then at the end
But
of
it's
the day, he
because you're
made
expecting something, you see.
yeah. So,
Mm.
but like I said, money is not a problem. For me, it's more of the friendship. I lost a 12 years
Mm.
of friendship. Uh, that hurt me. You
Mm.
know. Yeah.
I get what you mean. Okay, I believe that everything. It's a bit cliche, but I do believe that everything happens for a reason. And
Yeah, I
I
totally
mean,
agree.
we don't know why it happened the way it did, but like you said, maybe you guys were not meant to be together, and you couldn't see it, and the universe was the one that kept pushing the plans back. After
It's
two and a
very
half
good.
years, you still,
It,
yeah, you still
it,
couldn't see it. The universe is like, hello. After two and a half
yeah,
years, you still
but
insist on
you know
doing
what?
this. Let me give you a
You know,
punch.
yeah, he treated me so differently. Like the way he texted me, like he was like, uh, how to say, like, saying mean things on messages. How he never
Ah,
said to me when we were friends. But like, that's why I one other thing that I learned. Money is just like I think this is from Steve Harvey. He said money is just an enhancer for you to for whoever you are as a person. Let's say if I'm a good guy, I like to donate. I like to give. Right. The more money
yes,
I have, I'm just gonna give more. I'm gonna donate more.
yes,
But if you're an asshole, yeah, I'm sorry that
yes.
if
You
I
just become a bigger asshole.
yes, exactly, right? And
Yeah.
I didn't realize that tap that I had from him. Uh, but he was the moment like he got into married into that thing, he just become worse, and
It
I'm like,
simply
oh man,
amplifies what was inside lah, the
yeah,
true
yeah. I was
self,
like,
the true
thank God.
self.
I mean, can you imagine if I were in the business with him? It would be so much worse. Like having that
Oh, yeah. Then you will be like in a
bigger
marriage
mass,
with him,
yeah, bigger mass. So I'm
like a
glad that.
business marriage. Oh. Okay. Okay. I'm glad. Thanks for sharing with us your biggest failure. I thought that's probably still a little bit painful, but well,
All
you
good.
can say an hour later.
Everything will pass. It shall pass.
Yes, everything shall pass. At that day I was just okay. This is so totally nothing to do with Amar. But that day I was watching, was it some social media thing or something like that? And then there's this person, this very old actor. He was saying that everything shall pass. If whether it's bad things, everything shall pass.
Shall
Even
pass.
if good things, also everything shall
It shall
pass.
pass.
So even if you are feeling like shit, it's gonna pass. But if you're feeling top of the
Exactly.
world, it is also going to
It's gonna
pass.
pass. You're
Great.
gonna pass on and die.
It's true, right? Like
Right?
at the end, it's just a cycle. It just goes through
Cycle.
and,
Yeah.
and all that. Yeah. Okay. So we talked about failure, and then now we're gonna talk about motivation and what basically what keeps you going. I'm sure running your own business and it's tiring, but what keeps you going?
I think one thing that keeps me going is because, like I said, accountability on my own. Like you are the maker of your life. Like I want
Mm.
something. We have like majority of the planning that I did with my old partners. It was like I think I put a lot of thought and ideas on it. But so I think I put a lot of work on it too, because when you have money, you don't. I think one of the other thing, right? A lot of these rich people, they always use money to pay people to do for their things, right?
Oh yeah, they,
But
they buy convenience. They buy
yeah,
time and convenience with money, which is
yeah,
very smart actually.
yeah, it's very smart. So, but mostly of the idea is usually like coming from your workers, and all these things, right? So I was like wondering, like, at the end of the day, like you are the maker of your life, and my motivation, I think, is just I want to have a very fulfillment happy life and achieve what I want.
Hmm.
And that for this year, I want like 10 schools and like
So that's your
team
aim
and
for this year, lah.
work.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just got to do it on my own.
Yeah, and
And
it got to do your own
also
and
agree with
leverage.
my
You,
parents. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, do you still have your parent?
yeah. Yes, I do. I do.
Yeah. So
Fortunately, yes.
now we're at our 30s, right? And our parents probably at our what, 60s?
My parents, yeah,
Yeah.
60.
So if you look at an average human life being, they only live up to 75. Like my grandfather and grandmother passed around 75, like 80, right? So that's if we look at it, if they're like 65, they only have about 10 years left with them. So these 10 years, I just want to make their life amazingly memorable and give them as much as I can towards my parents. I think that's
Yeah.
my biggest. motivation.
That's your biggest motivator, is it? Like on days when
Yeah.
you feel tired or lazy, we all have those days, okay? So this is what gets your ass moving, is it?
10 years is like, who knows? They goes earlier. In 5 years, you only have five
Yeah,
years with
it's true. It's true.
like my
And to
partner.
give them more,
Yeah, you give them more.
to give them
You were
more, you
saying,
need to have more.
in Islam, there's this saying where you give to your parent, you got 9,000 more,
Yeah, I don't mean like in terms
something
of
like that.
heart. I'm talking about money wise, like things
Yeah,
that
yeah.
money
I'm talking
can
about money
buy.
wise. Yeah, I'm talking about money wise.
Yeah.
So in Islam, they said if you give your parent one time, then God will give you like 99,000 more.
Yeah, correct, correct. So what I'm trying to say also is that if you're a good person, you love your parents very much and you want to provide for them, then the bigger your tank, then the more you can provide also, right?
And I think recently what also happened to my partner, my girlfriend, like she had her dad diagnosed with her heart, and I think the dad's my girlfriend's dad's only have like 20% left, and the doctor said to her she only have 1 year left. So that was like, whoa, like what
Oh,
would you do? What would you do? Like, like everyone, if you have your parent have 1 year left with them, you would do the best and bring them the best of what you
hmm.
can provide for them, right?
But
So I think,
that's why they say that live every day as if it's your last, right?
yeah, that's also a
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, and I mean we all know that, but sometimes when it happens, it's the feelings are a lot different.
It's different. I think,
It's it comes in a tidal wave, I think.
and I feel like sometimes it take a lot of, uh, what was that word? Like they also take not advantage, like what's that word, Denise?
Which word? Suddenly you ask me.
We always, and then we always take opportunity, like take it for granted for whatever our parents like. Oh, they're still healthy, they still have a long life to go, right
Take it
until
for
like they're,
granted.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like right until like they're almost like sick, and then like then we were like, oh crap, we only have
Oh,
that
we
much
don't have
time
much
left.
time left.
And then
Yeah.
yeah, then I think might as well we just take now where they still have time. That's the way I feel it.
I think
And
sometimes humans are very as humans we are very short sighted. If it's not happening within the next 1 or 2 years, we keep thinking we have a lot of
mm,
time.
right,
Right? But it's not
I
true,
totally agree.
people. Make full use of your time, people. Denise, make full use of your time. Stop sleeping all the time. I'm talking to myself, by the way. Okay. Okay, we talk about okay, so if let's say somebody now wants to pursue a career that's similar to you, setting up their own thing, maybe not swimming per se, but being an entrepreneur first time and all that, what advice would you give them?
Keep learning. Never, never, never stop learning. Even for me, I took one of the like as a director consultant in BNI. It was like the
Mm.
biggest learning lesson. Like I thought, I went to like Money and You, Tony Robbins, NAC, like all this course. I spent like I think I was like a seminar addict before. I went to so many.
You were on a
So,
learning curve. You were on a learning curve.
yeah,
Let's just put it that
I
way.
spent crazy amount of money for trading and seminars, and I was like, why am I doing this? Like and then at 30 I stopped, and then I joined BNI, and then had to relearn the whole new thing because right now when I was in BNI, like imagine you're in a 50 group person with 50 business owners, you need to learn every businesses of, and then every business has different challenges and stuff like that. It's a
Mm.
whole new learning curve. There's so much things to learn in this world, not just in one industry. Yeah, it's crazy. So never stop learning. Keep growing. Go to seminars. Even spend your
Be an
time to learn.
addict.
It's okay.
Be a seminar. Be a self development addict.
Yeah, self development is very important.
Did Did you? Okay, so I'm also quite curious. This one I think is a bit more physical. Not physical as in body wise, but in terms of tangible, okay, not physical. Wrong word, tangible. What were some of the resources that helped you the most in this journey?
Resources. Some of
Yeah,
the resources, I think
resources.
it's,
Just so we talked about resources from people, right? Now we can talk
yeah,
about like
emotionally.
resources. Whichever, man. Maybe you rob the bank. I don't know.
Resources, I think for me is hard work. Like I think whatever you throw to the world, what you want, the world will secretly, or I don't know, vividly will just, you know, give what you ask for if you actually look for it. And one of the
Mm.
key point here is hard work. You gotta hard work, and believe in God. I think believe in God. Like I always believe in God. You know, I learned this new thing where I don't know. I'm not sure if everyone is like a big believer, but we always think like, oh, we work hard, then after that we go find God. But it's always the opposite. You pray to God, then you go work hard. you know, it's always like that.
Okay, I
yeah,
get where you're coming from.
because
Okay,
God is.
so
I think for me,
so it's
making
it's
God.
like a journey together, lah.
Yeah, yeah. So people always do the opposite. It's like, oh, I'm gonna work hard, and then if I fail, then I go to God. But why don't we do the opposite?
Why
Like
would the God help you if you just only when you fail? But then sometimes I feel like, okay lah,
but
because
that's
gods are
how
not like
human beings are
humans.
usually like, trained. We're always like, oh, we'll work hard and get a lot of failing, and then I'm like, oh shit, I'm like, done with
Out
this,
of
and then I'm like,
options.
yeah, out of option now. Where do I go? Find God, it's always like that. It's always the opposite. But so now I start doing the opposite way. I pray to God first because at the end of the day, I think whatever that comes coming from God. He's
Mm.
the universe will give you whatever you ask for.
I don't think he gives you whatever you ask for. He gives you what you need. Maybe not what you want, but what you need. It's like, oh, I
Maybe.
want this. No, you need that. I'm gonna give you that. You don't
Well,
get to
I only
choose.
give you. Yeah, maybe there's a reason behind it. Maybe if I give you too much, then you'll change to a
Yeah,
different
yeah, yeah.
person.
There's always a reason behind, but I think that as human beings, sometimes we are too, like I said, we are quite short sighted. Actually, we are too short sighted to see the bigger picture. Definitely. So the universe gives you what you need. Sadly,
Yeah.
not what I want. We never get what we want. Okay,
True.
we only get what we need. And then after that, we realize, this was why I got
Yeah.
that thing. So, okay, just now we talked about, you said that if, let's say, at the beginning of your career, you would tell yourself that not be afraid of failure, right? Yeah,
Right.
usually this is something, okay, it can be the same thing now, lah, but it's a little bit similar to how we usually close this podcast episodes. We would
Okay.
usually ask our guests, what is one thing that you would tell yourself 5 years ago? If you could go back
Five
in
years
time
ago.
5 years ago and meet Amar, what would you tell him? 5 years ago was when?
Man,
Before
5 years
COVID.
ago, I was a.
You were a
Oh,
baby. Here. I mean, like
yeah.
here.
Oh
We were
man.
all babies then. I think here. Five
I
years
would
ago. I don't
say,
even know what was I
I
doing
would say
5
to
years ago.
myself 5 years ago, I would be like, don't expect things to happen. Go create them. You know.
Like don't expect things to happen just because you put in effort, then something must
Yeah.
happen.
Go create them. Like let you be the mover of you. Like I said, you be the maker of your life. You go create something that what you want for your life. Don't just
And just
you know
depend on other people.
Yeah, don't depend on other people. Like, don't like you want to do something like, oh, tomorrow I was thinking about it. Just do it. Go create them. Go create memories. Go create beautiful things in life, whatever you want for your life. Because
I
there's
agree.
no fairy that can tell you no. It's yourself. At the end of the day, just create
Yeah,
something.
sucks, man. Sucks, man. One of the things I hate the most is responsibility, and I
Yeah.
know that, but I know that I'm the maker of my own destiny, blah blah blah. But at the same time, I'm like, can
Wait,
I?
there's a way for that. Find an accountability partner.
Oh, I hate accountability partners. Oh,
That is
I
also
know.
accountable. you know, not
I
accountability partner like,
know. I
yo,
know.
tomorrow we're gonna go drink. Yes, I'm also gonna go drink. you know?
No, that kind of accountability partner I don't need. I am usually the
Yeah.
beginner of those kind of things. I mean, like in life, lah. But it's true. We have to depend only on ourselves. And I think the reason, coming back to your grandma, I think the reason why women of a generation were generally so strong because they knew that they could depend on nobody else except for themselves.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Like your
you're
own
right.
family is so poor. Like who can you depend on? Your parents are like struggling
Correct.
to eat
That's
also.
why she created it, right? She
Yeah,
created
she's like,
whatever.
I'm just gonna make it happen
Yeah,
by
it's
moving my things.
it's easier to say, but to live it, to go
Oh
through it, it's a
yes.
whole different
Yeah, yeah,
story.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, like I said at the very beginning of today's podcast, is that whatever we say today is so easy to say, but to actually do it is not so
Yeah, you did. I'm
easy.
so happy for you. Hey, one more thing. One more thing. I think that
And
makes
I
you.
did. What did I do?
You created the second podcast, even though you don't want to do it, right? So you did it. You just push through, right? So that's
No,
good.
because I already made a
So,
commitment. You see, this is how I force
okay,
myself to do
yeah,
things.
yeah.
I make appointments because there's nothing I dislike more than disappointing people. So if I had already made an appointment with you, I'm like, I don't. It's not just about me anymore. If it's just me, a very easy slack off one. Like if you
Right,
exercise, if it's
right,
just yourself, you're like, never mind lah. Today I tired. If you have go with your friend, right? Your friend waiting for you, like you got no choice, like you have to go. So that's what I
true.
did.
That's what I was telling you earlier. The higher you go up there, the more responsible you have for your
Oh,
uh.
disgusting. Okay,
I think
disgusting.
at the end of the day, I think you just need to enjoy the journey. Whatever you create, please enjoy the journey. Don't create something that you hate, because you create something that you hate, you're not gonna last long.
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
promise
true. It
you
must be
that.
sustainable,
Create,
right?
yeah, create something that you love. Create something that you enjoy. Then you love the journey. Just enjoy the journey and
Well,
be
I'm
happy.
glad. Yeah, I know, and I'm glad. Actually, I'm quite glad that we had this. I think this podcast has helped me to kind of like touch base with some people like you, and I'm glad that we're having this kind of in-depth conversation because I remember when I first met you and Mani, you maybe because you were in the learning mode, you felt kind of like you seem
Who's
brighter
this
now.
kid? Right?
You
Like
seem you
why
seem
is
a
he
lot
like?
brighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you seem a lot brighter and happier now. Last time you seem a bit like uptight, a little bit like I gotta hustle. Now you're like, okay, I gotta hustle, but I still have to be happy. You
Yeah.
know, I don't even make sense, but that was the vibe that I was getting from you. Okay, but anyway, thanks so much, Amar, for
Thank
today's
you for having me.
conversation. You are most welcome. Thanks to Anne, which aka Ms Nhi, for trusting me to be her guest host. Not knowing what kind of nonsense
And
I'm gonna say. Her normal her normal podcast, right? She's a very serious person. So her normal
oh, is
podcast is
it?
very
I haven't
serious.
met her
So
yet.
very
Maybe one
serious.
day I'll meet her again.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
She's quite serious, lah. She's like serious and she's like asking in-depth questions because she's a businesswoman herself. She's an entrepreneur herself.
Mm.
So yeah. So she asked very serious questions. So thanks for trusting us with your podcast episode, and to all the listeners and viewers, remember to like, share, subscribe, etc., etc. And we or Anne will catch up with you on the next episode. So this is Denise and Amar signing out for Ms Nhi Podcast. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for continue support my Ms Nhi Podcast, and don't forget to